for the show, yeah, we shut it down. 3, just to make sure you ready. 4, let them know that we run this town. 1 for the money, you know what it is. 2 for the show, yeah, we shut it down. 3, just to make sure you ready. 4, let them know that we run this. Feeling good, yeah, I could taste it. I could tell that it's one of them days.
What's going on, guys? Shane McNamara here with the 7-Figure Dog Trainer Syndicate. I've got a freaking awesome guest today. They're actually one of our members in the 7-Figure Dog Trainer Syndicate, and they're very active members. They're always on the morning calls. I'm super thankful and humbled to be able to interview them today. Marcus and Kim of Canine Citizens Club, located in New Braunfels, Texas. The floor is yours, guys. Go ahead and tell the world about you.
All right. Well, thanks for that awesome introduction there, Shane. That makes us feel good.
Yeah, it does.
I'm Marcus. This is my wife, Kim. We're located in New Braunfels over here, and trying to do our dog training business and reach the community, and trying to build our business. And we've connected with you guys, which is awesome. We're connected with a great team, and trying to get more education and better flow in our business here. So it's been a great experience connecting with you guys and that community that you provide, which is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think we're now at like close to 100 members in the Facebook page, and in the coming months, we're releasing a lot more services and offers and things. And I'm always appreciative that y'all are on the calls like every time, you know.
Yes, it's an awesome learning experience. I don't know how we could pass that up, and the key is getting connected and getting different views and experiences out there, which helps everybody grow. This is a community that helps each other, not really competition. So I like that.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I want to just give a shout out to Bellum Canine, especially Shane and Chris, because I've never been a part of a it's not really even a company. I feel kind of like we're friends. Like we all get on the call and we like talk about like real life stuff, but also it's been super educational. Even with me having a marketing degree, I've learned so much from Chris, and I've learned so much from you, Shane. Y'all give us the secret sauce to be successful in our business and to hit that next level and to achieve our dreams. So I'm extremely thankful for Bellum Canine.
Absolutely.
Now I'm all blushing and flattered with that introduction. Thank you, guys. So the world needs to know more about Canine Citizens Club and exactly what you offer, like all the services, the things that you do out there. Go ahead and tell them.
Okay, yeah. So we deal with any type of dog issues, from reactive issues to puppies to obedience, to advanced level stuff. And then we've also added the Pawtree dog nutrition health side that's a complement to the business and is great for the complementary residual income on that. And I think that's me personally is kind of a no-brainer for any business to add. You're the subject matter expert in with dogs anyways, and people always ask me like what I recommend for food. And before I found Pawtree, I was like, well, I don't know, and I would just say a company I thought would be best. But finding Pawtree and using that ourselves, we got some good results with our dogs, and thought it would be great to point people in the right direction, and then we make a side income as well. So
yeah, I became a fan. I jumped on the bandwagon. I believe in it too. So we're not just referring people's doodles to the working dog food that we're feeding our Malinois. It's a different pet profile, a different nutrition basis, and it's cool to bring it to your company and add another stream of income, like you said. So I'm a fan.
Yeah, good. So we do right now, we do individual private one-on-one sessions. I go to people's homes. I go to public places, anywhere there's an issue with a dog. This morning worked on loading and unloading from a vehicle with their dog. Their dog just, from a puppy, they'd always pick the puppy up and put them in the vehicle. And so now the puppy's grown, and the puppy just has that mental block. So worked with the dog and got a few good repetitions in. The dog began to understand. So just any issues like that, working with families a lot, and then multi-dog homes, just going in and showing families. Really, it's people training, showing people how to communicate better with their dogs and understand that language, And then once they understand the concept, then that approach, that method can be taught with any problem that comes up with the dog. But
So you do a lot of actually going to people's homes. What's the furthest that you guys commute? How far are you going out? You driving out to California to serve people's dogs? Like, what's the limit? Well, I guess
North Carolina, actually.
I guess the limit is if they're willing to fly you out and pay expenses, you're going to go, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, we've done that.
Yeah.
Around here, we have to have kind of
25-mile radius.
yeah, just a radius, because traffic and time physically becomes impossible getting back and forth. I've commuted from San Antonio back towards Austin side,
Whoa.
and yeah, it's a good run to get over there for the next session. So I have to block off some times, but it's kind of keeps everything fresh though. Every session is a new problem or new, people, new dog. And so it keeps me on my toes as well with my approach.
I can't imagine how many miles you're putting on your truck.
Well, I got it on my odometer there. And I've just recently got my truck back from the shop a couple of times. And thankfully I have a warranty on it. But yeah, that's one of the things, as we get more into the business, I can and we're kind of at that point where we can hire additional help, and then maybe I can get into other avenues.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got that personal approach, man. In the industry, there's so many people that want that trainer to come to their home, So
yes, I find that a lot, and it helps us get out into the community. And I think for any other phases we get into, it's a good approach where people see my truck all over the place, and I'm going to people's homes. I've seen former customers or current clients in places of business or out around town at restaurants, and kind of helps you get your name out there and become a known member of the community. And we've got some good reviews that helps as well. But
when it comes to training, are you doing like behavior modification, aggressive dogs that are aggressive to humans, dogs that are aggressive to other dogs? Are you a place that you'll go to their house and help them with those issues?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of that seems to be just the fear aggression side of it. Some of them are easy cases. Some of them, are harder. And I think either way, I see more success when people know it's going to take a little bit of work and implement the techniques and methods and the homework that I show them. But yes, any of that, from dog aggression to people aggression. And it's amazing that when I go and address some of these issues, that I can take the leash and work the dog, and the people are amazed.
Yeah, it disappears, right?
Yeah, I'm amazed. Yeah, that I didn't get bit.
Yeah, it's leadership. It's our backgrounds. It's where we come from. It's the dog's different on leash. That's really cool, man, that you're traveling out to people's places. You're known in the community for what you guys do, even before you met me. And then the way that you're just continuing to grow and scale your businesses. You guys are awesome. And the last time you guys came out to my facility, it was so awesome meeting you in person and going out to lunch. I freaking enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a great trip. We were privileged to meet you guys in person and tour your facility. It was great to see you over there.
Yeah, awesome. So what led you to be a dog trainer, and what's a little bit of your backstory that got you here and now?
I guess a few things. I loved animals as a kid. Had some dogs growing up, and the funny thing is, I remember specifically when I started working with dogs, it wasn't on the professional side at all, or that I knew what I was doing, but I had this boxer where every time I walked out, the fun boxer, how they like to jump, he'd jump on me and get muddy paw prints. So I remember one time I come out dressed up, he jumped on me and ruined my nice clothes. I was going out. So I turned around, went back inside, and come back out, fresh pair of pants and shirt. And lo and behold, he jumped on me again. And that was really frustrating. So I made a mental note that I was going to come back and do something about it. So I don't really remember what I did as a young teenager, but he didn't jump on me. He would jump in front of me up and down, as high as my face, but whatever I did, he learned not to jump on me. And then the same dog, I had a little Ford Ranger. So I wanted the dog to jump in the bed of the truck, and so I could take him places. It was just a single cab little Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
So I dropped the tailgate and told him load up, and he just looked at me. And I know he could jump because he was jumping on me all the time, but his just had that mental block. He couldn't get in my truck. So just me trying to problem solve. I looked over and saw the ditch, so I backed my truck down in the ditch to where it was almost even with the ground, the tailgate. So I walked in the bed of the truck and encouraged the dog to come in, and he came walking in, and we went in and out a few times. And then I got in and raised the truck up out of the ditch a little bit, and then got back out and hopped in and out with the dog, and then eventually pulled it out on the street and got him to jump in and out. And I thought it was so cool that I taught my dog something, and he learned and understood.
Yeah.
So that just inspired me, working with the animals a little bit. And then from there, on the professional side, years later, what started my career actually was I was right after 9/11, I hired in with the Department of Energy on the federal security side. And a couple years after that, they started a canine program. Well, there was already senior officers out there that signed up, but a couple years into it, they left, and I, of course, volunteered to work with a dog, and that started my career. It was bomb detection patrol dogs, so they sent me to a class. My first one was in Virginia, and went through that with a great Malinois. Actually, he was from the Netherlands. I still have his passport, but his name was Taylor. My last name was Taylor, spelled the same way. So the guy said, "Man, it's meant to be." And I was like, "Yeah."
Awesome.
So yeah, we went through training, and it had to be the same name. When we got back to the site after training, they called us TNT, Taylor and Taylor. So
Awesome. Who did the training?
It was
In-house, or was it contracted out?
It was through Cerberus Farms. I don't think they're over there anymore. But the trainer was Big John. I forget his last name, but he's over some of the TSA contracts right now.
Okay,
I still
cool.
keep in touch with him.
Cool. Very cool.
And then worked that dog for a few years till he retired. And then my next one, I went to a school, Canine Institute, or the Canine College in South Palms, Florida, with Bob Anderson.
Yeah, these are all DOE funded, right? They paid for you to go there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So they usually, wherever they buy the dogs from, they'll send me to whatever they offer as the course. So, but a good thing about the government, working for the government, they like to spend money sometimes. So I got to go to different classes, different trainers.
Yep.
And then after that, we would go to problem solving classes, and just different places.
That's a dream for a lot of guys to have access to knowledge like that,
Yes.
Consume.
Yes, it was awesome. And then we got into the USPCA certifications for our dogs, which were kind of like competitions. So I did that for a few years and got some trophies and everything. You can see behind me.
Looked like you kicked ass and took some names in that process.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we got
you stole some souls or something.
And first place stuff. It was really great. I love the training side, and so eventually, after almost a dozen years with them or so, went overseas, volunteered overseas in Afghanistan, and worked a bomb detection dog over there for a couple years. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, while I was over there, started thinking about, it's just the politics I didn't like, but I love the training side. So I had an idea, hey, I could start my own business and help everybody, train their dogs. So
it's crazy how much we got in common, different governmental sectors, but you and I are blessed to be able to go through the courses, go through the trainings, be held to certain standards. I'm sure if you would have failed out of those things, they would have kicked you out of the position in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, it was job dependent that we passed certifications. If we didn't have a job. So
yeah, and that's different than a lot of guys, and even those people that are self-taught. It's I don't look down on them in any way. There's such great self-taught guys out there, but we definitely had a kind of an upper hand and a blessing to be put through all these trainings, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I had a chance to meet some great guys out there, big names, all over, and was blessed to be decent enough. Went to nationals a few times, up in where was that? I've been to a few different places, Florida, and then upstate. I forget all the places. It's been a while.
Yeah, I can't remember all my stuff too. I was doing TDYs, also traveling all over the place. But the big thing is just having access to all these courses, in-depth technical knowledge. And, you know, that's one of my talking points too, is like doing the things at the caliber of seriousness of explosive detective, you know, dog handling, in real world environments where you don't know if you're going to get killed that day. If, you know, if you suck at training, if you suck at what you do, people are going to die, you're going to die. It's a lot more, it's you and I have that brotherhood mental mindset of like,
Yes.
like take this training serious with your dog. And I know it bleeds into my company and my clients, and treating civilians like they're going to die on a minefield, but it's not that serious.
Yeah, that's what I tell a lot of my clients. We're not at competition yet, but when we get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna,
and also just the being able to work with law enforcement and ATF and FBI and
Yeah.
all that is great experience to get into that aspect as well. So
that's awesome. And then you guys got married, or have you guys always been together for forever? And she just fell into a dog role. What happened with that?
well, actually, I had started my business already and was working that for, I guess, a couple of years. I met her, and I was actually in the time in Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans, and building my business. I went over there originally to start my business with a friend of mine, and we parted ways after that. Had different business ideas, but I kept at it and started having some success. And then going back home to Texas to visit family, I met her, and it wasn't too long. We got married, and I invited her to Louisiana against her will. And
wait, but you have to tell the story though. The story is that I was looking for a dog trainer. I really needed someone that could train my dog.
That's how we met. Yeah.
So yeah, so
She wanted me for my skills.
we got through a mutual person, well, actually through his family member at church. And I didn't want to go to PetSmart or Petco or any random thing because Bella, she's like my child, you know? So I wanted to find someone that knew really what they were doing. And I Facebooked him, and that's kind of how we got into it. But literally the first time that he trained my dog, we fell in love. So it was kind of like
you got a whole lot more than dog training accomplished out of that. That's awesome, guys. And then you had no idea that you were marrying like a marketing genius and such a hustler entrepreneur, right?
Right. She had her experience with you know, working in insurance and legal offices, and
I worked for law firms, and I was an insurance agent for 7 years, and I've also worked for real estate. So I did a lot of different things too, but insurance was a good money. And, you know, I was able to network and get out there, and I love not just being at your like desk, but I loved meeting people and networking because I was really good at it. So yeah.
You guys are a dream, man. Like building these companies like this and doing all this, if you're doing it alone, it's the hardest thing ever. And, you know, I think for a lot of people, they would dream to have, you know, that spousal connection to build together. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, so a couple years into it, when she moved over there, she actually started at a
insurance
agency and was working, and I was doing my business. Well, I got to the point where I was getting busy enough. I couldn't take calls and make sales and do the training, and you know, I'd have to, in the middle of training, say, hey, can I call you back? And then after that, call them back and then go to my next session. So
Doesn't work.
to think, yeah, I was like, you know, I need some help. So it's either hire somebody or invite my wife into the business. So I forget how I asked her. I was like, hey, you want to come to work with me? And I think she just kind of got quiet at first. Like, I don't know if she saw my vision on how I want to build a business. But anyway, she saw the excitement part of it, I guess, and being with me 24/7.
Well, he actually, he
So-
said that he felt led by God to include me into this business, that I would be a huge asset to the company. And you know, what's in unity, God commands a blessing to. So I was excited. I loved watching him train. I loved watching the dogs, like their mind work and all that. So I wanted to become a trainer, but he needs me on the business side of it. But I love doing it. And I would have never thought in a million years that I would be married to a dog trainer's wife and actually doing that stuff. But I love it.
Yeah. The one thing too, from my perspective, I realized, you know, and I talked to a lot of other trainers that we interview on these, is it's more than just like a dog training business. It's a people and relationship business. And
Yeah.
for a lot of them, I know I've made like a tremendous amount of friends, and like true friends, people that have been there for me when times are down, that were previous clients, and then like changing entire family dynamics and saving the relationships with the dogs. It's crazy what we get to do.
Yes.
Yeah, we've saved marriages, we've saved dogs from going under, you know,
Being
we've
euthanized and
yeah, we've saved so many situations, and I've had clients tell me that, oh my God, I'm gonna get a divorce if we don't get this dog trained. And then after the training, they were like, oh my God, your husband's a lifesaver. He saved our marriage. And that right there is like
Crazy.
it's so rewarding to hear
That's
those kinds of things about my husband.
it is rewarding on both sides of you know, the dog training side, and then, you know, being able to work with your spouse and you know, keep everything just as a family. And people, I think, like that dynamic, that, you know, it's my wife and not just an employee that seems more disconnected. We're a family business, and people kind of lean more towards that. So
Yeah.
keep it
So
in the families.
so what is your inspiration, and how has it impacted your approach to business or life?
My inspiration, I want to, I just wanted to build my own business. I did a few things growing up. My dad was an entrepreneur, and all us boys we kind of, you know, started little businesses here and there. But my vision was, I wanted to, instead of having a boss and a job, to do my own thing and be able to build a legacy for my family.
Yeah.
And provide for my family and have my family involved in that. So, you know, those little dreams that you have way back then, you get to a point where you have to step back and realize, hey, I'm still on the journey, but I've attained part of that. So, and just, you know, building a family in this, and then my wife inspires me to do better. And you know, she gets excited, you know, about the sales and, you know, the business venture. And so we kind of, like, on the factual side, and this is, you know, goal oriented, this is where I want to get to. And so she's,
She helps you enjoy the process as you go through it too, you know?
yeah, she helps me do that on that side. Yes.
I balance it out, because I have clients that are like, man, your husband's really serious, but you're like bubbly and goofy. And I was like, yeah, that my husband just has that, I guess, that military structure from him working with them for so many years.
Well, I'm
But
trying not to get bit when I'm older.
yeah, we balance each other out. But also, my inspiration is I love to write, and I want to write people's stories. So I want to include our life story into writing a book. And I've actually got one, and I'm trying to get in the process of finishing it. But this would be an amazing opportunity also to share our life story with the world. God is number one in our lives, and we wouldn't be anywhere without God and our marriage, everything. So we obviously owe all of that to him, and helping be a difference in people's lives with sharing God, but also with our clients. We've invited several of our clients to church, and it's changed their lives. There's a woman who has stage 4 cancer, and we prayed for her and God healed her. So it's also taking our faith and bringing it in other people's lives that are hopeless, and giving that dim of light, giving it literally igniting that fire back in them and giving them a reason to live again. So I think that also is a big part of the inspiration.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it also makes us all better servants to our
Yeah.
fellow man, you know,
Right, yes.
and helping these people with their dogs and their problems. And, you know, that's beautiful. Well, you know, I know your inspiration, but what about some challenges throughout this journey? Because I know you had to have challenges.
Yeah, those daily challenges. Sometimes it can be, huh?
What do the challenges look like? You could tell you what you currently deal with and or what somebody that's going to start a company is going to deal with too, you know, and then some.
Yeah. So daily challenges, sometimes us, working together and having disagreements, but still having to keep the business running and then, our future goals and stuff. From starting the business, just learning the legal side of it, structuring the business. But I think really the most important thing that I have found, I tried doing this really on my own, and it was really hard to try to come up with, all the different dynamics of you have to be your own business guy and admin guy and trainer guy and tax, everything. So and then I didn't really have a community when I started. I think maybe getting connected to a good community where you get some good advice and different ideas and some encouragement along the way. That's why we love you guys so much, because it gives us a lot of different ideas and opens doors and new thoughts. And then we get encouraged from some of your interviews where people are way bigger than we are, and we're like, yes, we can make it bigger. We can, if they did it and started where we are, then we know we can do it. And just I think sometimes just we have to step back to some of the challenges as you get into it, and you can get the too close, I guess, of a view and get caught up in the daily routine, or some of the problems that come up or that you face. And so just that's where she helps me sometimes. Just it'll be all right. I'm like, no, this is serious. And just being able to step back and relax, and then we go out on a date night and we talk about the business and our dreams about it. And like Pawtree was a big one for us, where
game changer.
Where we don't have to do more work. It's just additional that we tell all of our clients about, and then it only almost automatically builds on its own. So we really want that. It's a challenge to get it started, of course. You have to do some work, but now we're kind of at a point where
we kind of just sit back and let the residual income flow. And now we're going to be focusing now on building our Pawtree team to where we can help other people reach their dreams. If people want to send their kids off to college, or if they want to retire. There was a lady that's 3-star VP, which is the highest you can go in our company. She literally paid for a whole month for her husband to take off work, and she bought a Porsche, and she was able to travel with her husband. And I was thinking about that. We want to start a family, and I'm like, I would love to pay a month for my husband to just take off and enjoy some time and not stress about it. Because let's be honest, you work with your hands, you work with your mind, y'all are exhausted. And so it's nice to just take that break and not have to worry about day to day, oh my God, I have to come up with this amount of money. And then it's nice to just have that cushion, and also think of retirement as well. It would be a great way to have that additional income.
Yeah, we've kind of added this into our program, where our new clients, when they sign up, we do a little gift basket for them, and we give them a little gift card to start them out on Pawtree, so that they go ahead and make that move. And once they get the product and realize how great it is,
they stay on it.
Yeah, they stay on it on their own money, and then they've told their friends about it, and it's been great.
And I mean, dogs that have literally had issues for 10 to 15 years, they've spent thousands and thousands of dollars at the vet, and they switched it to Pawtree, and it was like an overnight difference. We had people crying on the phone, just thanking us so much for introducing them to Pawtree. And that right there is so rewarding to me, because I love animals, and I love being able to make a difference in those dogs' lives and save their lives. We went through a really bad issue with my boxer. She almost died, and she was having seizures. And, I took her to the vet, and the vet was like, well, she may have boxer cardiomyopathy and heart issues and all that. And I'm like, no. So I started studying under the scientists and vets of Pawtree, highly educated vets all over the world, because this was during COVID. And I was learning from these highly intelligent vets. And they were like, this is a game changer, guys, because it matters what you feed your dog. And I'm like, what? And some of the other dog trainers were on there. And that's when I incorporated it to my husband, like, we have to try this out. So we tried it out for Bella for a week. We put her on chillax to help her with her joints, because when they have seizures, they get real stiff. We put her on joint support to help support and lubricate those joints. and then the dog food, and took her back 2 weeks later, and the vet couldn't even believe it was the same dog. So when we saw those kinds of miracle issues with our dogs, we're like, we have to share this with the world.
Yeah, even one of my German Shepherds, Ruckus, used to get hot spots every summer under his collar, on his back hip. And they're inside dogs, but anytime he got hot or stayed outside, or just for whatever reason, he'd get a hot spot that would come up. And when we switched to Pawtree, he hasn't had hot spots since.
And he loves laying in the grass and just sunbathing now.
Yeah.
It's just, it gives them a whole different new perspective on life. It's awesome to watch. And Bella's 12 years old, and people can't even tell she's 12. They're like, I thought she was younger than that. I'm like, no, she's 12. So it's just amazing.
That's what I get with Roxy. I put Roxy on pretty much every supplement that they send out in your starter pack. I mean, her coat changed, her energy changed. She's like pretty much screaming, whining when I'm making the bowl and putting all this stuff in there. She's like freaking the fuck out, just going crazy. And I'm like, chill, I gotta put this topper on here for you. And she's like, ah! So I put it down, and yeah, she's about to be 9 years old, and she acts like a 2 or 3 year old dog. So what's great too is anybody that's interested in Pawtree, there's going to be a link down below. You can click on that, and you can come in on the team, and they're going to have you guys as a mentor, and myself. So that's what the link is down below. So some of your successes, what would you say is your proudest accomplishments and most successful moments? Because you've had a lot. You've had everything ranging from your competitions and kicking ass, taking names, building, repairing marriages. I mean, you already went over a bunch, but what is your proudest accomplishments and most successful moments thus far?
Well, like you said, there's a lot of those along the way. Some that stand out. I've done a couple of demos in the community with one of my dogs. So being invited to the high society, high class events we were invited to with our dog to put on a little demonstration. That was fun.
For the mayor.
Yeah.
The mayor was there, and all the high people in the area.
Another gala event, the holiday event. But that, to be picked out of the community, and there's other, of course, big dog trainers in our community, but being picked out of that, and then another one is our reviews. Like I go out there and I work hard for these reviews, but you don't always get good feedback. But we've been working together. She takes care of explaining to the clients and getting them signed up, walking them through the process. And then when I go hands-on, I make sure that I try to deliver more than what was promised. And so on another proud, I guess, accomplishment is having the 5-star reviews. And hopefully that trend continues. Yes. But just everybody, we don't have any negative. If somebody has an issue, we try to work it out, and hey, how can we fix this? Yeah. Or, am I not doing my part, or what is it? But we've always gotten the good feedback, good reviews. And so now she's on some of the Facebook pages and stuff like that. And when she posts something or comments, then you have a lot of other people that comment, they're great trainers. Great place. And
you've assembled an army of referrals. Yeah.
We have like 30 or 40 people every time that as soon as I post something on one of those individual private Facebook groups, and there's like over 25 of them, just a crowd of people. And then when I ask people, who referred you? Well, Facebook group, but you were commented like 30 times. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. They're like, yeah, you're doing your job. So that's really cool to hear about us being in the community like that.
And we had one client. She's a realtor, Shelly, with her her little mixed dog. It was kind of an aggressive issue, and she had bitten a couple of people, and she couldn't take her anywhere, couldn't walk her because she pulled. So I went over there, and it was we did my program. I forget how many sessions it was, but I seen a change in the first few sessions to where she invited her sister over that was going to be taking care of this dog, and she was really nervous about the whole process. And so we had her there for a session. I walked through everything, and to this day, that was a year or more ago. And to this day, anytime, well, she tries to put a word out all the time anyways, but I see her post all the time, and she'll text me here and there, and just so grateful and thankful, because she says anybody can come over, I can walk my dog, and she's like, you guys are a lifesaver. And she's just always singing our praise about, you know, how the transformation has been for her and her dog, which it's not just her dog, it's changed her life. So that you know, those are proud moments and accomplishments.
Yeah.
I guess some that stand out.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm pretty blown away at all your you know, accomplishments and successes on those things, man. What do you think made the biggest effect on that dog? Was it a change of leadership and equipment? You know, how was that dog being controlled?
Yeah, just communication, I think. You know, correcting or giving consequences for bad behaviors and rewarding the good behaviors. I always like to redirect into something positive, because that really motivates the dog. And just after the dog understood the boundaries and what we wanted, then it would try to just give better behaviors, and we praised and rewarded that, and just got the exposure and proof the commands and behavior. And I think the owner understood as well, because you know, if they don't reinforce it or understand it when I leave, it's going to go back like it was. But
it's so much invested into that, probably that woman, into teaching her how to properly do everything.
Educating them.
Probably
yes, that's a
80-40 on training humans. It's always training humans.
yes, and that's really my job. And I tell her sometimes I come home exhausted because I'm holding class. I'm holding class, not just working with dogs. When we did our board and train, it was mainly dogs, and then we would, but it was, and I didn't have to teach class and help people understand every time. I would do videos and send to them, and follow up with them at the end. But to do one-on-one and really, and everybody kind of recognizes that you're really training me, huh? I'm like, well, pretty much, because you know, dogs are simple, and they're going to go whichever way you direct them or reinforce. And but we have to change it's like learning a new language, right? And understanding the dog's language and how they communicate. And so that's mainly, I guess, my objective when I go. I don't want to just, you know, solve the problem with the dog that the owner not understands. So I have to really explain it in such a way in layman's terms where they can really connect. So I'm always using analogies and about kids and you know, behaviors and all of that. So, and I have to, when I go, I try to give it my all. So, you know,
he becomes somebody he's not normally on a daily basis.
Well, because she sees me when I come home, I'm exhausted, but when I'm there, I have to, because they see me for the first time. I have 5 sessions I'm running to all day, but they see me for the first time.
You're kind of peopled out by the end of the day. Your bubbliness is gone because you gave it out to everybody all day long. I know. I'm the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to say though, we got offered last year to go to North Carolina for a military man who was struggling really bad with PTSD after his 4th tour in Iraq. And he would have tremors real bad and shake. And so he needed his poodle to kind of be as an emotional support, but he didn't want to really call him as an emotional support dog. So my husband, we were there for not even a week, and he would teach him paws up to where when he had those kind of issues, the dog would indicate and know exactly what to do. And now he talks about how incredible it made his life, to where now he doesn't even have to say paws up. The dog immediately knows when he's going to have an anxiety attack, when he's going to start those tremors. And it's just, it's a game changer. And we've worked with a lot of military PTSD here.
That's a service dog, because it's a training. So once it's a trained task from the ADA, that's a service dog. So some veterans that have seen some very bad stuff and gone through that process, even though it's psychological, where they would say like emotional support, but it's so much deeper than that. It affects everything. That he can't go out, he can't get groceries, he can't do something, but that dog leveling him out on that trained task that now became like basically like an inherent task now. Like dog fully knows when it's going to happen. And he can take that dog everywhere, and that's amazing. Those are some of my biggest accomplishments too, man, is the veterans and the disabled children and stuff that I've done service dog tasks for. And and change lives. And that's for me, like, you know, get into the godly stuff. It's started to feel like my purpose and passion too now.
Right.
This
Very
stuff.
rewarding.
I want to
Yeah.
focus on it, but it takes so much time and effort. And
Yeah.
it's like it's so much more of a relationship that you have to have with that client. And you got to run a business and you got to get income coming in. And it's like, you know,
You
personally, I
can't
want,
give a lot to it.
yeah, I would love to be able to just have all of those type of clients, but you need to have a big nonprofit for that,
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
you know? Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it a little bit, but go into depth about some of your expertise. What specific knowledge, skills, or insights you bring to the industry and field, and what sets you apart from others in this area?
Let's see. I think
Well, we already know
uh,
your schools and trainings and all that, so that's part of it too.
yeah. So went to a lot of different schools. I think what's helped me is having such a broad spectrum of education and experience with different trainers. And it's funny because some of these classes I would go to, these trainers are, it's my way or the highway, and he has this one approach. And just me being innocent and coming from different training backgrounds, I'm like, well, what about this? Does this work? He's like, no, you need to do it this way. And just through the years, I kind of like, I guess that helped me persevere starting my business and helping people. It's just like how, you know, it's not just one way, you know, and it kind of hinders us sometimes if we approach dog training just with the way we were initially taught without having more tools in our belt on different approaches.
Just about to
Because
say that you
yes,
got a fat tool belt now with lots of tools you can pull out.
yes, absolutely. And some dogs people don't understand. The hard working dogs you have to handle differently than
Mhm.
you know, Fido or
The
the little
doodle,
lap dogs.
yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I have enough um, experience and stuff, education out there to where I can handle any aspect, and even, you know, with working dogs, the reactive side of it, the aggressive side of it,
Yep.
and kind of knowing what to do there. And then for the timid dog, you know, how to approach that. And I tried doing that a little bit throughout my career. I wanted to be a trainer. At one point, in our canine division with Department of Energy, they approached me. I was a senior handler, and they needed a canine manager to manage all the different sites and operations. But you don't get to train dogs. You don't have a dog. You don't get to work with dogs. So they approached me about the position, and I asked, well, do I get to work with dogs? No, it's more of an admin side, but you'll be in charge of everybody. I was like, that's not for me. But and I asked them, hey, I would love to be your trainer. I would go to every site, work with dogs. I love doing that. And they said at the time they didn't have the option for that, or the position for that, or the finances for it. So I stayed at my place, and eventually after that I was, you know, had done the competitions, and they were starting to take funds away from the canine department, and it wasn't as fun anymore, and they were going to single purpose dogs.
Yeah.
So at that point I went overseas with a different company. But
Did some contract, did bomb dog explosive detection contracting, right?
yes, yep, that was with the State Department over there in Afghanistan. But yeah, just you know, making mistakes along the way as well, all your experiences. And I remember I was at a point in my career just starting out. When you start to get good at something, you kind of, you know, your ego swells and you're like, yeah, I'm good. And I got to that point. I use this with my clients a lot nowadays, just to help them understand, you know, to be more self-aware. So to help your dog, because they respond to how, you know, we reinforce, or the things we do, they just respond to. So I was at a point in my career where I thought I was great and I was doing bomb detection, but my dog would false on me sometimes. And I kept saying, my dog, you know, something's wrong with him. They're falsing. So I had some trainers I was working with, and that's where I like different dynamics, because you get different, you know, perspectives and experience and knowledge.
There's a
And
lot of causes for falsing too. So it's not just one reason what you're, you know, you got to have someone technical, look at the whole situation, figure out why that dog's being falsing.
Yeah, problem solving.
Yeah, problem
And so
solving.
it's hard to do when you just have one approach from training, or you're
Yeah.
limited with that experience. So they saw the issue. They finally saw the issue. My dog knew odors, but I was causing the issue where I was kind of stutter stepping is what they called it.
Yeah.
When my dog got a little more interested, I would, stop real quick. I'm like, he's on it.
You were cueing a response.
Yes. So that was the dog's cue. And he figured out, if I didn't know where the odor was, and he kind of like, what was that? And he looked at me and kind of sat, and I rewarded without knowing. And that just,
Did somebody record you while you were working, and then you saw it on a video? Because that's a lot.
So that was the change.
Yeah.
Because I was saying that I was doing this, and I kept blaming my dog, and the trainers were trying to tell me it's you stutter stepping. And I feel like I'm doing everything perfect. You know how you're in the moment, you don't see everything you're doing. So that's the change in my career. They finally quit arguing with me and videoed me. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, it is me.
ego left.
Right. So that humbled me when I was getting to that point. Thank God for that moment, because I would have been like any other trainer, like, hey, I know my stuff. This is the way to do it. I don't want to hear what you got, right?
Yeah.
So when I watched that, after that point, that made an impression on me so much. I used that video tool with my partner. When we would train, I would get him to video me. I would video him. And it was funny capturing some moments, some comedy moments in there as well. But to go back and see, hey, my timing was off. I kept repeating verbal commands. My dog was confused, and I was trying to force him to do something. So I use that today with my clients. If, with leash pressure, or if they repeat their verbal commands, I just like, hey, you mind if I video you? And they're like, sure. And so once they look at the video, they're like, they have the same moment. Oh.
What helps mediate marital issues too, because the husband will blame the wife will blame the husband, and he's like, just watch.
Yes, I use that a lot when they start arguing. I'm like, well, hey, let's just video, and then we'll show each other. Instead of arguing, I did it, no, you didn't, going back and forth. So that's a big impression in my career that changed my, it was a turning point in my career, but I use today in my.
You bring a lot of humility into your training, and lack of ego, and just like me on my shop, when you guys came in, you saw the sign above my door that says leave your ego at the door. That makes great trainers. Yes, it does. You're more teachable. Yeah, more teachable. And as soon as you think you know it all, that's when you're failing, because I'm always learning. I'll train with you and watch how you do something so that I can add that screwdriver into my tool belt. Even if it's a bad example to learn from, some people I've trained with, I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a note not to do that. So if we're making analogies, because that's what we're the best at. If I see you do something wrong, that's like a Ryobi drill that I don't want. I want the Milwaukee set that works. Yeah. I see a lot of that in competitions where, your pass or fail counts, or your points count. And I never wanted to be first, because I like to watch what everybody else did to improve and be more efficient. Smart, man. So I remember one time in competition, I was watching everybody. I'm just in competition. I like to go to the side. I don't like to talk and laugh and being with everybody, because I'm in that moment. I'm focusing, trying to envision what I'm going to do. And I was doing this one time where they were having this box search, and you could see, out there, the handlers really trusting dogs or doubting their dog, and the dog, if they're confused or really know their job, and just the handler dog relationship working together. So I was watching, and I was making, speaking my language, same words. Yeah. So I was watching this competition where it's 3 boxes on each side of the field, and your dog goes and searches each one to find the suspect, or which box has the suspect. And so you have to trust your dog. When your dog indicates, call him back to you, and you raise your hand to end the thing, and then you got to point out the box that has the decoy in it. So I would watch everybody while I was picking up. The wind was blowing from a certain direction. So
Yes, crosswind. So when people were walking out of the field, I seen a lot of dogs indicating already, but the handlers were ignoring it and pulling them down to the end of the field to start. So I made a mental note, hey, I need to watch that and watch my dog and see what he's giving me. So when my turn came, this was a proud moment competition.
Yeah.
I walked out there and I was watching my dog the whole time. You know, you're trying to do this, but I'm keeping an eye on my dog, and I see him
Road
when
change.
we get to the very end. He starts wind scenting. I seen him kind of scenting, but he was really interested when I stopped in front of this box. So I already knew, okay, I know what box he's in before we even start. I trust my dog that much. We practiced enough. So I took the leash off, put it on, nodded, and they gave the go ahead to start the exercise. So I sent my dog. He went to the first box, went around it, barked. I called him straight back to me. I didn't have to search any of the other boxes. Put him in the position, called the end of it. They said, leash up your dog. So I did, point out the box. I said, that one. And this is in front of a crowd, kind of a public thing, little competition thing. So he stepped out of the box that my dog had searched. Didn't have to search any of the other ones. And I got a applause, and the judges, I got a perfect score on that exercise.
Looked like a.
And I walked off the field.
Straight
That
G.
was a proud moment. Yeah.
Like just walk out and destroy it.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. But I knew all the little details that nobody else saw. And I just knew everybody like, wow, like, how could you trust your dog that much without searching any of the other boxes? And the other handlers watching be like, wow, you know, how did you know?
You're a trained team. You know your dog. You know his responses. You know when he's throwing change. You trust your dog. You've done enough training to know it. You've recorded yourself. You've seen it on video. You know, all those things added up to make you have that I call it, you know, gangster moment. We just that's cool, man. Based on all your experiences, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs? Somebody that wants to start a dog training company, they want to get into it. Maybe give them some warnings. Maybe give them some encouragement. Go ahead, because this is important, because it's a journey to start a dog training company.
Yes, it is. It's not the easiest feat. Sounds great, but once you get into it, a lot of technical side. So I would just say the thing that I didn't have when I started is probably the most important thing is get connected to a community of people that's done it before you and can help prevent you from making a lot of mistakes that you don't have to. And so you can kind of streamline the process and
join us.
And then get the experience. You can't just go to a class, come back and say, hey, I want to start a dog training business. You probably could, but then your experience is going to be as you lose clients because you don't know how, you know, the dynamics and you don't have the past experience on how to deal with certain issues unless you're just going into one certain like obedience only or puppy training only.
Which could be a good start. I mean, don't try to be so broad.
Right. You got to start somewhere. I started with my dogs. I started helping friends on the side. I think when I first tried to start the business, I was doing $50 a visit. So I would set up these visits. I still go to their home, but I charge them $50 and I'd work with your dog for however long it took.
They love that.
Yeah, well, I found out that most people didn't show up or weren't at home. And I couldn't understand it because I kind of knew my stuff, but I think I was too cheap. People just didn't take me serious enough. So I've raised my prices since, and I don't care if there's somebody else cheaper.
To 55?
Yeah. I actually charged another friend I helped. I had his dog for it was a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Anyways, I told him everything I was doing. I was helping him out, and he's like, I kind of, told him it would be a few $100s, and I think his grand total at the time was going to be like $800. And he was like, "Oh my God, I can't! Oh my God, $800!" And I'm like, "Dude, every day I've been working with this dog." Yeah,
that's like, how many weeks was it?
I think it was about 3 or so, 3 weeks.
Yeah, it needs to be a lot more than that.
Well, I didn't realize, well, now people tell me all the time, like, you're more expensive than most people. But I find that people, whatever they put their investment in, they tend to do the work, or they're more serious about their investment. So if you're cheaper, you think more people are going to hire you, but
It's
you
really
know, it's
it.
right.
And then if you're going to invest in a trainer that's super expensive, you know, or just not even super expensive, they're just priced appropriately of what the effort that has to go in for the problem. Knowing their background is huge. Like their things like what are you, and you know, I'm not going to go invest a high amount of money into a brokerage firm that doesn't have great results.
Right.
Yeah.
But I look you up and I look at your background. I talk to you. I do an interview. I see all your stuff. I see all your trophies. I see all this stuff, and maybe even reach out to some of your customers that are on Facebook that are raving about you.
Yeah.
And then it's all verified, justifiable.
Absolutely. Most of the reason why people call us is either they've looked at our reviews. They said that they like the fact that I'm very personable, and then also that we're family owned. So that's the biggest key, especially in the New Braunfels area. It's God, family, community. So us fitting right in here, it's really built us.
Yeah, I can't compete with that. I can't say that I got that going on. So, you know,
And then of course the integrity side, building a good name.
Yeah.
We're out to help people with that perspective, not just to sell you a product and get your money. We've refunded people we didn't need to, just because they had, you know, an issue or they moved. Like, hey, sure, we'll refund you. You know, we don't have to, and it says it in our contract, but you know, we want to be fair, and that always comes. Yeah, everybody, it comes full circle, and people get the word like, hey, you know, they were fair and they're honest.
Yep.
And then putting in the hard work.
Yeah.
So what do you advise these young entrepreneurs starting in the dog training company? You know, I know you mentioned like legal services. That's probably overwhelming to people, even knowing how to start a business from, you know.
Yeah, have a good attorney.
Yeah.
Just
get insurance.
Yeah, you gotta have help. You gotta connect with people that can help you build along the way. I tried, like I said, doing it on my own. I had to be my own tax guy and admin guy and trainer and market it, and it was overwhelming. I took some courses through it, but it's, you know, just to do all that, and then you get to a certain point where you can't handle that high of a load, you know, as you grow, and then you don't really have to. I mean, who can know everything, right? And then
you got to learn it, and it takes time. If you are going to try to know it all, you got to go through a long learning journey.
Yeah. But then you got to build on your passion. Like, if that's your passion, you want to keep that, and don't let the work burn you out and lose your passion because you have to do administration that you didn't like anyways, or you have to do taxes that you didn't like anyways. So you got to stay connected to your passion, and, you know, stay true.
How many years are you on of doing this?
20.
Yeah, I started in 2005 professionally. Before that, I was, you know, doing my own thing, didn't know if I was doing right or wrong, but working with my dogs and other people's just a little bit, but professionally got into it in 2005. And
outside of contracting, that's when you were done, and then you started a company in 2005?
No, 2005, I was only 21 years old.
Yeah.
No, I was just a young kid.
How old are you, bro? Like, you don't look that old.
No, it's not.
You look way young. I was like, what? This math is so how long have you had a company, running your own company?
I started that in 2017, so about 6 years on my own company. Yeah.
And then since 2017, have you encountered burnout?
Oh yeah.
How do you
We were
fix
doing in New Orleans. I started out doing individual, like I'd go to people and work with their dogs. To start, I was giving a lot of stuff away, like, hey, I'll work with your dog, just, you know, help pass my name along.
Yeah.
But then we started doing board and train. So we were doing very well. She would book us up every month to the limit.
3 to 4 months out in advance.
And it was just me by myself training. She'd come out and help too, but one dog after another, I'd train with one, let them play, put them up, grab the next one, do the same thing, and it was nonstop.
We had like no life, like at all.
months, yeah.
Like no
I did the
marriage,
same.
no dating, no nothing. It was awful.
You're telling me the exact same story that I went through, and there's so many different ways to run a dog training business that if that doesn't work for you and it's too demanding, there's other
Yeah.
ways to do it, and that's what we teach in the syndicate too. Like, you don't
Yes.
do this that way. That's going to
That's
kill you on burnout. But what
He
got
wants
you over the burnout?
Yeah, and he wants to switch to day training to where he's not running out all over the place. He can hire a trainer to do that, but he still wants to do the in-home training because that still is a sweet spot here. But doing the day training, people are still getting their board and trained, but
Yep.
then also we're going to be training the client as well. So that's what our next step is going to be, is doing that.
Killer.
What got us through the burnout was we actually
God.
is a blessing in disguise. But we're on that road for, I don't know how long that was, just month after month after month.
Like a year or two.
And then a hurricane come through that forced us to evacuate. So we came over here to New Braunfels area, and we couldn't do any training or do anything really. We were over here just waiting to get back. Well, the hurricane actually kind of devastated the town we were in, and there wasn't a way to get back. So we were over here for a couple of weeks. Well, while we were here, we were thinking like, man, we can't keep doing this. It's
Honestly,
exhausting.
I was praying and asking God to move us out of there far away before that, because that's not even a place to have a family. New Orleans is scary. I didn't like going places without my husband because he's fully loaded. I'm not. So it was kind of, our pastor's wife got attacked at a CVS at 10 o'clock in the morning. Some place was not safe. I hated it there. So I was praying and fasting, asking God to move us out, but my husband had such a big business there. It was just too hard to disconnect him.
Yeah, we couldn't stop it. It was just,
it took an act of God to move you.
It really was, because literally we were having a normal day of board and trains, and all of a sudden clients are calling going, hey, what are we gonna do about our dogs? I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, our hurricane's coming. I'm like, what? So I was like, I called my husband, and he's not the person to panic. And so he was like, well, babe, let me just see. Then he goes to the gas station. People are lined up like all over the place. He's like, may need to take this serious.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear here in Santa Fe. I mean, everything I've built up over the last couple of years, those metal buildings and the kennels and all the structures and everything, a hurricane could come through and just wipe this whole me off the map.
Yeah.
And then all the animals that I have, I gotta like figure out a way to get vehicles, trailers, and transportation and get out of here, possibly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about your what you built to and how you started, and I guess the same with us, you can restart anywhere.
Yeah.
But this was actually a blessing for us to come over here. We kind of changed. I'm doing individual where I don't have to take the dogs in the house and worry about them and nonstop.
Not stress our dogs out, because our dogs, we have 4 on our own, and then having all these additional dogs in, it was just too much stress on the family, on us. My husband could never escape work, like never. So it's just better for us. It's family oriented. I mean, everybody to each is your own, but to us, it's just better family oriented to be able to escape it and then be able to come home and have that peace and not have everybody else we have to worry about.
Yeah. And if you're a single guy doing it, or a single gal, I mean, board and train and stack it and work to it. And when you're tired, switch over to a different form, start traveling, like change it up, change your services up. You can do it.
Absolutely.
Or hire help. We're to the point, I come to the point where I was by myself and had to hire her because I was growing. It was getting to be too much to, do all aspects of it. And then she came along, and so we were able to build a little bigger. I think we're getting to the point now where we're at the same point where we need to hire additional help so we can change, have some rest or change the dynamic, and I can do my day training and somebody else can go do individual sessions or whatever.
100%. Become a master delegator.
Yes.
How you get to the better persons. Like, can't keep control over just you doing all the training and tasks. Like, you've got to train someone up, delegate, and get out of that position, and then advantage. You're right.
Well, yeah, especially it's the perfect balance, and especially if you want to have a family, if it is young couples coming into this and wanting to have that whole, you know, dream come true, you have to have like piece by piece where you can't just be a tunnel vision on just the business. You have to have somebody that's going to be able to kind of balance you out to where, yes, the husband can be the business, but the wife to be able to help and be like, all right, well, you know, we got to start a family too. So it's also having that learning that balance as well.
Yeah. The balance is the hardest thing for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But you don't want to create a company all the time. You know, after a few years of doing things in the way that we map it out in the syndicate, you know, you're not building a company when you're doing all the jobs. You've just created a job for yourself.
Right.
That never ends.
Right. It accumulates even. So
Yeah, it accumulates. So that's cool that you guys are going to be growing and scaling. It's time to scale now and get yourself into a position that you can go on vacations and take off and people are still getting serviced.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Brother. So what are some current projects? I know you mentioned we got into the Pawtree. That's a big current project. It's even a big project for the 7-figure syndicate. You guys being in the ambassadors of the program, teaching all the people that come in that want to add that stream of income to their business.
Absolutely.
Like I said, the link is down below. You want to look into it. And then they can reach out directly to you guys at you know, through your company for it. But we need them to come through the link that we have here so that they come in through the program, that they have all of us as mentors, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's super exciting. Elaborate on those current projects besides Pawtree that you guys got going on.
So we're I guess in the process, we're gonna have to hire an employee. So that's
The trainer.
yes,
Okay.
a trainer. I need some help. And then I was telling her just today that she's gonna have to do that schedule and my schedule and put clients accordingly. That's gonna be a project in itself. But also looking for a facility now or you know,
Okay.
a building. Yeah, I can do my day training in. So
Awesome.
we're in, huh?
Is that awesome?
Yeah. So we're already, you know, have reached out to community. We're part of the community. We have some different contacts out there. One guy here a while back, I think we kind of lost touch with him. He wasn't quite in the phase yet, but he was talking about building a like a strip center. He had a little place that he wanted to bring us in.
They're groomers, and so they're right down the street from us, and he has a huge metal building, and he was saying that we could come in there and do training. And honestly, like, they get people all the time that are asking for trainers, so to do something like that would be a really good. He was a cop and she used to be a nurse, so now they're a husband and wife duo, and they're really amazing, and they've become some of our good friends. So
Yeah. Is that metal building air conditioned? Because what I've had,
He's got to make it.
good.
Yeah.
Because I had to scale mine through the process of not being air conditioned to getting insulation to doing it. And I wish I would have done it sooner, because training in Texas in a freaking metal building,
no kidding.
in an oven is rough. But hey, you know, my journey is showing the struggle, and then all the way through, you got to have an AC indoor space. But I am proof that you can do it in an un-AC'd thing. It's just everybody, your customers are going to be sweating.
Yeah.
Well, I use everybody else's AC right now. I go to Home Depot or Lowe's and do my training there. They have everything provided.
Yeah. Cool. I think, you know, we got into current projects and all the things that you guys are working on earlier to kind of naturally just float into that section of, you know, questioning. But looking back on your journey, is there any particular lessons or principles that you wish you had known earlier, or advice that you'd give your younger self starting a business?
Just maybe be prepared, like I said before, get connected to a community where you can have somebody else's experience to build on and advice.
That's
going
hard to
forward.
find in the dog industry, when everybody wants to hate each other.
Right. Yes, and I've seen that through the years. It's like competition.
They really are. Like, even when we moved here, we had some that was hating on us, and we didn't even know them. But I was just getting into the individual communities, and he was apparently that person for that community, and just at me, and I'm like, it's fine, you know. We're not going to talk bad about other dog trainers. Everybody's different, but we should all be like a group of like being kind to everybody and, you know, working with each other. We're not each other's competition. Like everybody brings different things to the table. No dog trainer is the same. So that would be, honestly, the community is a big part. Networking and helping each other out is a big thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's so many dogs out there and so many dog owners in America versus actual trainers. And
Yeah.
especially, let's say if you only look at the professional trainers that have, and by professional is you've got an LLC, you've got all the legal framework, you've created a company. The stats of how many trainers there are to how many dogs, it's like 10,000 to 1. So, and then you include all the people that are just doing it as a hobby or they don't have a company formed into it, then it's maybe at a max of 100 to 10,000. There's still not enough dog trainers in America to service the entire capacity of dogs needing training. Isn't that wild?
We need to go around.
Yeah, plenty to go around for everybody, and people are going to match with you guys, and people are going to match with me, and the styles and stuff, and people need to work more together. And
yeah, different dynamics. Everybody helps everybody. I've had clients come from different trainers, or PetSmart's a big one. Got clients from PetSmart, you know, just to start advancing, you know, more. So doesn't matter if you do train the dog anyways, they may, you know, want a different aspect or more advanced level. So you're going to go to another trainer. So.
And also take the time to relax. Like, yes, you need to make money. Yes, that is a big thing, but you're no good to anybody if you fail in your health. So you need to have that self-care. You need to take care of yourself. You need to make sure, you know, you're exercising and all that, because that's really important. Because even as a massage therapist, I was one for 7 years. The biggest thing that my professor said is you guys got to take care of yourself, because you're using your mind, you're using your full body. And if you fall apart with your hands getting arthritis at 30 years old, you're not going to have a long-term career. So it's extremely important to take care of yourself. Don't just be about money, money, money. You really got to take care of yourself too.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you got to remember to eat and drink water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me.
Yeah, on my face too.
Yeah, so
take care of you.
So that's why she helps me with that side of it.
If he listens.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if we think about the industry, where it's heading, all the things that we know about it, first off, what are your future aspirations and goals? You kind of hinted at them. I kind of want to hear more about like what the full 5 year from now, you know, your company is going to be. And then how do you envision the industry and landscape evolving? So people can, you know, they're going to watch this and then they're going to see what they need to be prepared for in the future.
Right. Yeah. So first of all, I think the future of dog training, you definitely have to have the education. They're always improving methods, training methods. You got to stay on top of that. Online courses, you know, just for convenience people nowadays, or if anything happens like COVID a couple years ago, you got to have, you know, you still got to have your business going and some revenue coming in. So you kind of you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Don't limit yourself either, because like we moved from New Orleans and people are calling us, still wanting us to train their dog. And we were even thinking about maybe we should do online courses. How could we like incorporate that to where we can have another additional income, you know? So it's always just thinking outside the box.
Absolutely.
And that's something we will be adding when I get myself together with doing videos, a little educational course, you know, so people can do that option as well. And then just having a place, I think people are looking for maybe a place where they can get a little bit of everything. My vision is to of course build a team, but to have a place that, and I was telling her again earlier, where it's like a dog hangout. You can do courses, you can do training, you can you know, have a little treat shop. There's a vet there that takes care of that side, vaccinations,
a massage for your dogs.
Yeah, massage parlor for your dogs, and just kind of like a little what do you call it, strip mall of different things where it's dog oriented. and you can get everything you need there, and it's reputable. It's not,
It's
just
it's the Canine Citizens Club.
There you
Exactly.
go.
There you got everything, man.
Gotta join the
That's-
club.
That would
That's
be
when I come up with that name. My friend asked me, "Why'd you name it a club?" I was like, "Because everybody wants to be part of a club, and I've always wanted to be part of a club, and this is it. A club is you have access to what you need. It's a club, you're a member of it, and so that was my thought. So
And
yeah,
it gets you those special perks and VIP
Yeah.
treatment and all that stuff. So that'll be a cool little endeavor, and maybe us having a little one on the way.
That's awesome, guys. Well, I'm going to pray for you, and
Thanks.
it's gonna happen. So when we close on this, I mean, this interview was awesome. Getting to learn about you guys, going through the whole history and the things you've been through and your accomplishments. I was honored to have you on the show today.
Yeah. It's an honor to be here.
yes, sir.
Yeah, the syndicate too. So if you had anything to say about the syndicate to close, any people that are skeptical about it, that they just see the flashy ads that we run, yeah,
Absolutely get on it, because
It's
I mean,
invaluable.
I've never really joined. I mean, we were part of another networking group, and I never really made the time for the calls. I thought this was kind of just going to be boring. It's going to be the same repetitive things. Man, Chris is awesome. His accent's amazing. No, I was just kidding, but no, it's really cool. I get to learn a lot from these different guys that are on there, talking about their challenges and also their goals and their aspirations, which also motivates you. So you got to get on it. It's worth every penny that you're spending on this, because you're not only just getting it for this, but you're getting it for so much further into your business and building you as a person, but building your business too. I've never been a part of something where it's a community involvement. I need to get more involved on the Facebook group, but the calls have been a game changer for me. It's made me a better salesperson. The type of technique you don't learn in a marketing school. You don't learn with your degree. So it's real life experience getting out there. Chris and you guys have helped me to where now I ask for the payment up front, where I don't have to wait and think, oh my gosh, they're going to think about the payment and then not pay later. So I've really kind of stepped outside of my comfort zone as well, and grown as a marketer. So it's definitely the best thing to start and do.
Yeah, I would say the 7-figure syndicate is a must.
Yeah.
To join if you are interested or want to grow. It's a must. You have the tools, the knowledge, the education,
the friendship, the support.
Yes, I wish, like I said, I would have had this when I started. I think I could have been so much further or grown so much more just having this with you guys, because we've just in the short time we've been a part of this group, it's really helped her grow so much and helped us increase sales already.
And I'm excited about the calls.
Yes.
I'm excited to get up at 6 a.m. and get ready to go. And I'm excited about the calls that I haven't been on them lately because I've had other things going on, but I miss when I'm not on them. I mean, it's truly a game changer. Chris has so much knowledge, and he has so many different perspectives to help you kind of challenge yourself. And then Shane, I mean, you're just a one of a kind in itself. We really appreciate this Bellum Canine, because like I said, I've never been part of something to where they want to hold things back and they don't really want to make you as successful as them. But you guys care about helping us as a business. You care about us as a person. And that I'm extremely grateful for Bellum Canine for sure.
And you really learn from everybody that's on the call.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have one surprise for you guys. Chris is probably going to kill me for announcing it on this call. But, we always said that we're not an agency and we're not, running people's ads and doing all that stuff, but we're actually going to scale and do it. So we're going to take on the burden and the task, and we're going to be building people's. We're going to be building their Facebook ads detailed. We're going to be running their accounts.
Yes.
With the budget that you guys can afford and supply. And we're going to be doing that and offering that, so that because
now you're a one-stop shop and you can literally go international and nobody's going to have anything to touch you guys. I was just telling Chris about that on the call when I had him on Friday. I was like, dude, you gotta offer this. I'm like stuck. I can't find a good marketing person. I can't find someone that knows what they're doing. Thank you so much, Shane.
these other companies aren't delivering results. We've gone into the background of people's accounts and seen how they're running them, and it's
Yeah.
pitiful. It is literally pitiful. It pisses me off, and it makes me upset that people are paying for a service, and then let's say they're targeting an entirely different location that you're not even in New Braunfels, and they're targeting.
That's what was happening when Chris went through and looked at all my stuff. I made y'all ad manager, and he's like, Kim, this is not even what you're looking for. And when you told me to fire her, I came home and told my husband, he's like, I told you we shouldn't have hired her in the first place. But he's like,
That's
let's
the big
fire
thing.
her.
I'm sick of people being taken advantage of. The exact things that I have in place for mine with the leads being on auto generation. You supply the money into the machine goes out and finds the people, and it gets funneled into your calendar, and you have eval. You got to show up and you got to sell, and it gives you an ability to scale when it's done right. But from our perspective, it is a tremendous beast to run when you have 30 companies ad accounts that you have to do. So we're going to have to scale into that. We're going to start off slow, but Chris and I have pretty much came to the conclusion that we're going to have to do this if we're going to take people, to the moon.
Right.
Awesome.
We're looking forward to
We're your first client.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, get that trainer spun up as fast as you can. In my experience, I've always had better luck with finding a extremely motivated young person that I can mentor, grow, and build. And that's been my best opposed to somebody that's already thinks they know their ways and you got to battle and stuff. But in all circumstances, don't blow that off. If they're humble and they're educated and they're motivated, then that could be a great trainer. The point is because once we start running these ads and the ad accounts and the evals and the things, you're going to have more work than you can possibly handle, and you get stressed out. You have so many things. So
we're looking forward to it.
We're ready. Bring it on.
Thank you guys. You have anything else to say before we head out? It was, like I said, it was an honor having you guys. It's been an honor since you joined, becoming my friend, coming out and visiting my facility. Maybe here in the near future, we could do a joint class together or link up, or you can come.
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
You should come out and do a class for my trainers.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, you're right down the street. So I mean,
pretty much. Yeah,
all
we
right.
appreciate your time today, Shane.
Yeah, thank you so
we love
much,
everything
Shane.
you guys are doing.
Thank you for caring about us as literally not even just a business, but truly being a humble person and caring about us to be successful. That's why, I mean, you and Chris, I can't thank you guys enough. I really can't.
Well, we're here to just keep proving it to you guys.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yep. All right. Later, y'all.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
God bless. Thank you.
Bye.